You're listening to JTE Movie Thinks. Is that the title? Is that correct grammar? All right, we'll go with it. It's a show about movies and thinking. And now, here's your host, every man's hero, JTE.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of JTE Movie Thinks. This week I have a special guest, somebody known for quite a while now. Actually taught me some of the things I know when it comes to engineering. Miss Marisa Serafini.
Hello, JT.
I gotta say, like, your last name, I remember the first time I read it, I was like, Serafini? It's not the easiest name, and I'm known for mispronouncing names.
That's okay. Well, thank you, first of all, for letting me be on the show. And a lot of people, and when I first meet them, they love my last name.
Really?
Yeah.
Serafini.
I think it rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it has like a...
nicely.
If I saw it at like a restaurant called Serafini's, I would go there.
There you go.
Maybe you should come up with like a product, like a TV dinner.
It's very Italian.
It is very Italian.
Now you're making me hungry.
Yeah, seriously. So, all right, Marissa, this is awesome. I've been doing this show for a little while. I've been meaning to get some of the AfterBuzz people on here. You're the first person from the AfterBuzz crew to come on JT Movie Thinks.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, so special.
For a lot of people who don't know, once the Schmoes made the move to AfterBuzz, we started doing our main show here, and one of the first things they said to me is like, you need to engineer the show. I was like, oh shit, because I know how to work a soundboard and stuff like that, but I'm a film guy. I grew up in film production. Never really kind of got into the whole engineer business until we made this move over here. And when I came over here, it was like, oh, we're gonna have somebody train you. I'd say 90% of the time, you were the one training me.
I was, yeah.
How bad of a student was I?
No, you were actually great because we've had a lot of great engineers that have come and gone, but we've had a lot of interesting engineers that have come and gone.
Not everyone takes to it.
No. Yeah. It is a lot of buttons, and
yes.
It seems overwhelming, first of all, but with as many shows and as much content we produce every week, it's really, once you get down to it, it's the same thing over and over again.
Definitely.
And that's what I always tell the engineers. I was like, you're pressing the same 5 buttons over and over again. That's it.
Mm-hmm. So was I an okay student, or were you just this guy doesn't know what he's doing, keeps forgetting to bring up the right levels? I felt like, for me, telling me something doesn't work as well as I need to get my hands on it.
Right.
Like, if I sit in the class all day and you say you need to hit this button and this button, it's totally different. Once I get my hands on it, I'm more of a hands-on kind of guy.
I agree. I mean, I personally am more of a visual type of person.
So we're opposite in that way.
In a way, but
Yeah.
I also learn hands-on too. I think a lot of people do. Mm-hmm. I think because engineering is such a muscle memory type of skill.
It is. That's true, yeah.
So once you physically actually start pressing buttons, you really get the hang of it.
I mean, when I first came in here and I saw you engineers, you guys were just like, you could be doing your taxes while engineering a show. It's just like so like secondhand to you. Meanwhile, like I'm sitting there like sweating, staring at each button like, like, a really bad Star Trek episode. Like I'm about to explode the ship or something. But thank you. I mean, you were a good teacher.
Oh, thank you. You were a great student.
Yeah.
You're very receptive. I will say that.
Really?
I've taught probably 95% of the engineers that have come and gone through here and that are still here, and you were a very good student.
Thank you.
And I'm not just saying that because this is your show.
How JTE, Josh the Engineer. Let's just do a show about how great I am.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do the hour of how great I am.
You love Rocky. I love Rocky. There
yes.
you go.
That's what we bonded on very early.
Yes, we did.
I was like, this girl likes the Celtics and she likes Rocky? This girl's all right.
I know. It's kind of... I love to throw people off like that. They're like... it's so unassuming, I guess.
What, the Rocky or the Celtic part?
Both.
Okay, both.
Combination. Especially for me, coming from Illinois, they don't expect that at all from someone such as myself.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, don't tell anybody here AfterBuzz. You're my favorite person here.
Aw, thanks.
But all right, enough of the praising ourselves. Let's get to what the show.
We're just cool.
Yeah, we're the two
talk
coolest
for
people
50
here.
minutes about us.
I'm totally with you. I try to do that every show. But let's get down to the meat of the show. JT Movie Thinks. On this show, Marissa, I asked somebody, what is the last movie you watched from beginning to end? Now, I don't want this to be something you had to watch for Anatomy of a Movie, which is a show you do every week where you have to go see certain movies. I don't want that. I don't want a movie that you were forced to watch. I want something that you watch just out of the pure enjoyment, whether it be something new that you've never seen before, because maybe you're going through Netflix, or maybe it's a movie in your shelf that you just, say, you know what, I haven't watched this movie in a long time. I'm going to dust this DVD off and throw it in there and watch it. So, Marisa Serafini. I'm going to say your name as many times as possible during the show.
Do it. You should make a drinking game out of that. That would be really fun.
Take a shot every time I say Serafini.
Yeah.
Everybody, if you're listening. What is the last movie you watched? I'm excited to hear what this could be.
Okay. It's pretty interesting because today, actually, just a couple hours ago, I just watched Wet Hot American Summer.
Nice!
Yeah.
Oh, this is awesome.
Because the new Netflix series is out.
Yes.
And we just started the after show on AfterBuzz TV last night.
Are you doing an after-hour show for the new show?
Yeah, now we're doing it. And we just did it 14 hours ago. And it made me think, I don't think I really actually watched the movie when it came out the first time.
Okay.
I tried watching it a few months ago. Actually, us as a staff at AfterBuzz, we played it on, as background music or noise, really. But we weren't really paying attention to it, more so myself.
Okay. So you don't have a long history with this movie. This is
No,
something
I don't.
fairly new.
And I went back to Netflix today, and I noticed I was like 60 minutes into the movie. I never finished it, apparently, the first time I tried watching it.
So did you watch it all the way through?
I watched it, all the way through today.
Wow. Okay. Well, this is interesting. This is a very cult film. It made almost no money when it came out originally.
No money. And I was looking up the information, like $5 million budget, I believe.
Oh,
but
really low budget, yeah.
It didn't even break the $1 million mark.
But the reason why it has a new show on Netflix is because it gathered this cult following. It really, it's
After
one of those,
the fact, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that hit VHS or DVD back in the day. And
Probably
everyone
still VHS back in 2001.
Yeah. And I think that's right around actually the time DVDs came
Yeah,
out. So
DVDs were starting to really boom.
But these were, especially when it comes to a cult film, it's probably the last thing that's going to come on DVD. It could probably not come out to DVD until much later. This is one of those movies that I feel like when you're in college it was passed around from dorm to dorm. Like, dude, have you heard of this movie?
Totally a college film.
It was like the Boondock Saints of comedies. Whereas everyone in college was like, have you heard of this Boondock Saints movie? It was like the cool thing to do.
Except no death.
Yeah, no death. Wet Hot American Summer was like that cult comedy that you heard about, usually not from a poster or a commercial. You heard about from other people that liked the
movie. Word of mouth, yeah.
Yeah, word of mouth. So I've seen this film a long time ago. It's one of those movies.
Have you watched it recently?
I recently rewatched the whole movie last week. Before, I think the series came out on Friday. Yeah, last Friday the series dropped on Netflix. Yeah. So 2 days before, Wednesday night of last week, I rewatched it. But here's the thing: I've seen it so many times. I knew everything. Mm-hmm. I remembered everything because it's Josh McCouga, who's from the Schmoes Know, loves this movie. We always joke around. We're always quoting the movie. So it was fresh in my memory. But again, any chance I have to revisit this film, I'm going to do it because I love the film. But because it is a cult film, not everybody loves this movie. I know I've heard people not love the movie, or also in similar situations, people don't get it the first time and they enjoy it, but they don't love it. And then it kind of grows on you and you kind of go back and you're like, oh, I kind of get it now. So what category do you fall into? When you watched it today for the first time from beginning to end, were you like, why is so many people love this movie? Or were you kind of like, wow, this is ridiculously awesome? Or were you in the middle?
I'd have to categorize myself more so in the middle.
In the middle, okay. I can totally understand
the first time I watched it, I didn't even make it all the way through. So now, going off of now fully have seen it, I'm more in the middle. I can see why people love it. Okay. If you love that brash humor. And
very stupid, ridiculous humor.
It is ridiculous.
It's very ridiculous.
I was watching this, and I'm like, this is just an absolutely ridiculous movie.
Yeah.
But it's not a movie to get fully dissect and really analyze it.
It's not trying to do that.
You pop it in to have fun.
Yeah.
And you just watch people being ridiculous.
Yeah, so and one thing that this movie has is a fantastic cast.
Amazing cast.
But at that time, they weren't the A-list stars they are now.
No, and they're so young. Watching it, it's been 14 years now. We're quickly putting a timestamp on the show. But 14 years ago, people's careers have completely taken off.
Bradley Cooper.
American Sniper. Banks.
Yeah, Elizabeth Banks.
So many people that are big nowadays. And even Amy Poehler. Yeah,
Amy Poehler.
It's look at all the amazing crap she's done since.
Which makes it even more amazing that they all came back and did this TV show on Netflix. Bradley Cooper was nominated for Oscar 2-3 years in a row. Almost, actually 2 years in a row, almost 3.
Like, literally is playing this character he played back in, like, 2000, whatever.
I mean, you gotta think Alias also was starting around that time, too. So.
Oh, was he in Alias?
Yeah, Bradley Cooper
played
Will Tippin.
I never watched Alias,
Oh, such a good show. You should watch it.
That's what I hear.
But it started around that time, and
okay.
I think that was probably one of the biggest platforms that really started his acting career.
And let's talk about the director, David Wayne. He's actually had some hit films. I think his biggest hit outside of this was Role Models. Did you ever see Role Models?
I did not see Role Models.
Sean William Scott, Paul Rudd, who's... If you watch...
Of course.
It's one... I think it might be his funniest film outside of Wet Hot American Summer. Go watch that movie, and all the cast is almost the same cast as Wet Hot American Summer. He brings back a lot of his friends and puts them in other movies. It's basically the David Wayne gang. Okay. Ken Marino, who plays the guy...
Is awesome.
Yeah, he's so good in Wet Hot American Summer, but he's in almost every David Wayne film as a small part. Even the last one he did... Not the last one, but the one he did with Jennifer Aniston and Paul Rudd, it's called... where they go to be like hippies in the...
Oh,
what was that movie called now? Wanderlust.
Yeah, Wanderlust. I did see that movie.
You did see that one. David Wayne, same director.
I laughed a good amount in that film.
Yeah, it's...
Another ridiculous film.
Exactly, not ridiculous. David Wayne, he lives in the ridiculous realm. Everything he does is ridiculous.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
Some people love that.
If you're good at it, that's what you should do.
If you work so much and you just want to pop in a fun movie, you watch his movies.
I totally agree. So what did you think of Wet Hot American Summer? Was it kind of like a hit-miss kind of thing for you? Like, what's some of the jokes that really stood out?
Some of the stories, I can't really pinpoint a specific joke because like there's so many different storylines going on within a day. I think some storylines I liked more than the others.
What character, was there any characters that really stuck out to you?
I love Molly Shannon's character. I mean, she's always funny,
yeah.
Her, like, whatever character she plays, but I loved how her character, I'm completely forgetting her name.
I don't remember
because I just watched it, dude, and so many people were on the screen.
I only remember some of the characters' names. Molly Shannon's not one of them, so don't worry.
But I love Molly Shannon's character because her character is going through like a bad breakup.
Yeah.
But what I loved about her scenes were she's playing off kids who are so much wiser than they should be.
So much more mature.
Which makes the whole story funny, ridiculous that way. She's getting advice from kids who have probably never experienced any relationship or any hardship whatsoever, and they're helping her through this like adult situation, which really made me laugh. And
in pure David Wayne style, she ends up leaving the camp with one of the kids. the one boy kid. It's like they're going off to like a relationship now. The kid's like 8, and she's like 30.
Questionable statutory rape.
It's so ridiculous. That's what I love about this movie is all these character actors, comedians, they get their chance to shine. I think David Hyde Pierce is hilarious in this movie.
Yeah, playing the scientist, physicist.
I was never a huge like Frasier fan. I like the show, but I never really watched it. But he's so funny in this movie because he gets to do something different than I see him do most films, just be ridiculous. Mm-hmm. There's one scene where she's like, "Oh, please, please," and he's like, "No." He just yells at her. He's like, "I said no." She's like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "I'm sorry about that." And then he's like, "Meet me over here in 10 seconds." He walks off the scene, and Jean Garofalo sits there and waits for 10 seconds. And then she walks over to him. It's like she's been gone for like an hour. He's like with all these kids with the scientists. He's like, "Oh, thank God he came back."
Right.
I mean, stuff like that, to me, it's not quite Airplane, which, like Airplane.
Another great movie.
Yeah, Naked Gun. Those are spoof movies. And I have trouble calling this like a spoof film. It's not really spoofing anything.
No,
I guess in a way it's spoofing summer camp movies like Meatballs. But I don't think there's enough of those movies to really spoof. So he kind of just did his own thing. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how he came up with this movie in his head. And like you said, because there's a lot of stories and characters, there's not really like a arc. It's not like a first, second, and third act. It's almost like just a bunch of little small skits.
Yeah,
sketches
more
put
so
together.
vignettes. And especially when you have so many named people in it.
Yeah.
Well back then they weren't named, but so many characters just in and of itself in a humongous ensemble. You're not going to spend a lot of time, really fleshing out storylines. So, I mean, you got... And that's what I thought at the end of the film. Some people got their resolves and some people didn't.
True. Yeah, no, totally true. Have you been watching the show?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
so now
I'm
prepped to watch the show. And I heard there's only 8 episodes, I believe.
There's about 8 episodes, about 25 minutes each.
I can do that in one evening.
And this whole movie takes place at the last day camp.
Yeah, last day.
The whole TV series is the first day at camp.
Yeah.
And it sets up a lot of stuff from the movie. Like the can that talks. Right. Which is the most funniest things in the movie to me is that can that appears out of
Maloney,
nowhere.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He plays a Vietnam War veteran.
What a creeper.
But that scene where the can's like talking to him, he's like, I never told you this, but I could suck my own dick. He's like, see, I said something and it's true. And
smear mud on your ass.
Yes. He's like, if you want to smear mud on your ass, smear mud on your ass.
Just do it.
The one thing you will see in the show is you see how that can came to be. A talking can.
So you've seen all the episodes?
I have one episode left. I've seen 7
you've seen more
8.
than I have.
Yeah, you haven't seen any yet.
No, not yet.
So,
but I did get a good preface of what the show is supposed to be.
Yeah, so what I love about it is it's a love-hate thing for me because I love that we're getting to see all these characters again. But what kind of made that can joke so funny was that it was so random.
It was, yeah. And I was watching him like, where the hell did this come from?
So the fact the show explains it maybe takes a little bit away from that. But you could see the show in the movie as
like all the
totally,
smoke and mirrors are gone, demystifying it.
You could take that backstory away. You don't have to watch the show. But if you love the movie, I think you kind of have to at some time. But you could. It's two separate things. Because this show does feel different than the movie in some ways because it's so much longer. And the characters, because Bradley Cooper's Bradley Cooper now, he's not in it as much.
Yeah, and that's what I heard, that Bradley Cooper and Amy Poehler, they were filming, other big projects. So their days of filming was only about 1 day each, because they're so busy.
And you could tell their scenes are all kind of take place in the same, and they do a good job of spreading out throughout the season, but you could tell they shot like all their stuff in like 2 days and just spread it throughout the whole season. Because they probably had Bradley Cooper for a couple days.
Well, and that's the good thing about, because there is no specific timeline. I mean, we have a day, but all stories take place different times of the day.
Yes.
Granted, it could be like 2 minutes apart from the last story. And that's what I liked about their storytelling format.
Yeah. Also, Ken Marino, I think he has one of my favorite from the actual film. The thing with the kids and the water raft. And there's this great chase scene where he's chasing on a motorcycle. That, to me, is when the movie's at its most ridiculous. And it's almost like a send-up of, like, cheesy 80s movies. Like, bad 80s movies.
Well, it does take place in the 80s.
That's true. I think it's 1987?
81, I thought.
Was it 81?
Yeah, 81.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm totally off. I'll have to rewatch it. There's even a scene where...
It could be 87.
The main actor, Coop, is training with the Vietnam vet guy. And there's a shot where it's just a close-up of their thighs running in slow motion.
Yeah.
Which I think is immediately from Rocky 3.
It's totally Rocky 3.
Totally Rocky 3.
I was going to talk to you about that, too. It's like that ending when they did the freeze frame with the fist pump. I was like, totally Rocky 3.
Totally Rocky 3.
Which I'm okay with.
No, totally. Again, it's an 80s movie. They're sending up 80s movies in a lot of ways. So stuff like that for film fans or just film geeks, you get a lot out of this movie, I think, because you know these tropes that they're lampooning, basically.
Right. But if the story time takes place in 81, that would be before Rocky 3.
Yeah, of course, but
again, the actual film took place after,
the movie is just a send-up of 80s period. The whole decade, I think, in a lot of ways.
Were you a big 80s person? I mean, you grew up in the 80s.
Oh, yeah, I grew up, I was pretty young in the 80s, but I still, in the 90s, I love the 90s movies, but I loved watching the 80s movies just as much. I mean, I was a huge Rocky, Rambo, anything 80s action or Karate Kid, Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the thing. I think 70s is the best decade for just artistic filmmaking, in my opinion.
70s?
The 70s.
Okay.
But you want fun?
Why the slow-paced style?
Just a realism. It's more realistic. Okay. Taxi Driver, even Jaws, Godfather. Those movies are just if I'm teaching like film history, I'm going to take a lot of movies from the 70s.
Okay.
But if you just want a good time and you want probably the most fun decade for film, it has to be the 80s. Ghostbusters. Karate Kid.
Amazing. Star Wars.
Back to the Future.
Hello, Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars started in the 70s, but the 80s was really became Empire and Return. Yeah. So for me, the 80s was like when imagination just kind of exploded to awesomeness.
Yeah. Some of my favorite independent movies are from the 80s. I do love the series.
What's some example? What's some indie films or like smaller films in the 80s? That
I always talk about Baby Boom, Diane Keaton. I mean, sentimental, but like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and a lot of John Hughes films. Well,
that's the thing, John Hughes in the 80s.
80s, hello, yeah.
But those were big hits. Those weren't really indie films. John Hughes ruled. I mean,
you put them all together, you could kind of make it a series in a way, but individually you could.
Ferris Bueller was 80s too, I believe, right? Yeah. Oh, man, John Hughes is the best.
I can do a whole episode on John Hughes. I miss him so much.
I'm trying to think. Well, American Summer, they didn't really get into the whole... I guess they kind of touched on John Hughes films a little bit, especially with the love story between Cooper and the main girl. Mm-hmm. And Paul Rudd, by the way. We haven't mentioned Paul Rudd. He is so funny in Wet Hot American Summer as just playing the typical asshole.
Right.
Who is just like... treats the girl like garbage.
Oh, I know.
And she still goes back to him.
Poor Elizabeth Banks and whatnot. And then, like, I felt bad for the kid who was drowning.
Yeah.
Like, did they ever save him?
No, and there's these great scenes where, like, it's the same shot of a van just throwing a kid off into the woods because they saw something go wrong.
Oh, no.
One of my favorite lines.
I do like Paul Rudd, especially his career, because he had a lot of big roles in the 90s as well. Before Red Hot.
He was in one of the Halloween movies. That's one of his first movies. It was like Halloween 5, Curse of Michael Myers.
I remember him in like Romeo and Juliet in 96.
Yes, my sister always goes to Clueless.
Yep, Clueless too. See, a lot of good 90s characters from him.
And now it's crazy because he's always been this kind of like... He's I wouldn't quite call him like an A-list star, but now Ant-Man, he's in a huge film for a huge company like Marvel. He's now going to be in Avengers and all these Captain America Civil War. I'm happy for him to see him reach that next level of stardom.
It's humongous over the past 20 plus years. I mean, I applaud him. Shoot.
I think like a lot of people knew him from the Apatow films. Like I loved him before Old Virgin. He was so funny in that, and like
I only saw that movie once. And
really?
I think that
only saw For Old Virgin once?
Yeah.
It's so funny. Revisit it.
It's hysterical. I have to. But again, Judd Apatow, his films are long. And my attention span is only so limited.
Yeah, we were just talking about this on the last episode, how it's like sometimes he just doesn't know when to stop.
Exactly.
And for me, For Real Virgin is his best film because it's just trying to be funny. It's not trying to be a drama.
I always thought Knocked Up was pretty funny too.
Knocked Up is really good. Yeah. Those are probably two of his better films. Yeah. So David Wayne also directed a film last year with Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler called It's Complicated. Have you heard of this movie?
Really?
It's like When Harry Met Sally kind of movie, but it's totally... Are
you sure it's called It's Complicated? Because it's...
No, It's Complicated with...
Yeah, you're thinking Meryl Streep.
Yes, I'm thinking Meryl Streep.
That's a Nancy Myers film. Trust me, I know Nancy Myers.
Okay. No, it's... I think it's called We Met One Day.
No, because I just watched it a couple of weeks ago, honestly.
The movie I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what... It Happened One Night or something like that.
It's something like that, Hold on, I'm going to find it right now.
We're looking it up. Thank you, technology.
They Came Together.
They Came Together, yeah.
There you go. So you watched that.
I did watch it.
Did you like that more than...
I laughed a lot. I even told my mom to watch it.
Because it's
another ridiculous movie.
It's
completely spoofs all romantic comedies, put them together. Especially there's that one scene where they constantly repeat themselves over and over again. And he's talking to the bartender. And they go on for a good 3-4 minutes saying the same thing over and over again. I did have to laugh at that.
Okay, so David Wayne, as we said, like how the Wet Hot American Summer is kind of spoofing a lot of 80s movies. He did it with They Came Together, just spoofing all romantic comedies. Mm-hmm. Did maybe because of your girl, you kind of like that movie a little more?
I did.
They Came Together? Okay, because listen.
Probably.
I've always said if I have a weakness when it comes to like movie trivia, is romantic comedies. I've seen a few.
You're a dude.
Yeah, I've seen a few.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Thank you. I feel validated. A girl told me it's okay. But I do like some romantic comedies. It's not like I don't like them.
What are some of your favorites?
Some of my favorite romantic comedies?
Yeah. That you're willing to admit that you like.
The ones I really like are the ones that are like about breakups. Like 500 Days of Summer.
Great movie. Completely told in non-linear format, which I love.
But I wouldn't really call it... you call it romantic comedy? Kind of?
In a way, yeah. There's comedy in it.
I mean, I talked about this before. When Harry Met Sally is amazing.
Amazing.
I'm a sucker for... I mean, do you want one that I'm like... I probably shouldn't say I like?
No, yeah, go for it.
I was a huge fan...
What do you think, JTE? This is your show.
I was a huge fan of Cocktail growing up.
I love Cocktail. Honestly,
okay.
I mean,
Tom
a lot
Cruise.
of people... I'm guessing a lot of people love or hate Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I understand that. Nowadays, especially.
I love Tom Cruise's career. He's, amazing. I personally like him as an actor. But I love him in Cocktail. I watch that movie all the time. Elizabeth Shue, amazing.
See, here's the thing. Since Karate Kid, I had the biggest crush on Elizabeth Shue. Okay. I was in love with her. Okay? I had a few people who had...
She was big in the 80s.
Like, late 80s, early 90s, my big crushes were Elizabeth Shue. I'll throw... After Batman Returns, I was in love with Michelle Pfeiffer. Because her Catwoman...
Fair enough.
...was just amazing. And I was a huge Demi Moore fan. I love Demi Moore. I thought she was the hottest thing ever. But
she is gorgeous.
Because of my love of Elizabeth Shue, I would watch Cocktail. And
just for Elizabeth.
Not just for her, because you know what? Tom Cruise is good in the movie. I think it's a fairly good film. I love how the...
Are you all shook up?
Yes. I love how the movie changes locations. Halfway through, you're like Hawaii. In New York with the clubs, and then you're like in this tropical paradise.
I want to go to Hawaii.
Yeah, I've been there. It's awesome.
Drink cocktails all day. I'd be fine with that.
You'd be fine with that? I'd be fine doing that.
I think it's much deserved.
So that's one I guess I could say that I, probably shouldn't be telling my friends that I love Cocktail. Movie. But it's one I really do enjoy.
I think it's like a lot of guys would like to be as suave as Tom Cruise
Tom Cruise in that movie?
Yeah. Brian Flanagan, man.
Yes, Brian Flanagan, you're right. Wow.
People want to be Brian. And to know all those drinks, to have that at the top of your head, yeah, shoot.
I mean, it's really just the bottle tossing.
Every
guy wants to go behind a bar and just start
that takes some
whipping
serious
bottles around.
eye-hand coordination, man.
Yeah,
I can't spin a bottle
girls
like
must
that.
just love that.
It's a turn on.
It's a turn on, guys.
And then you add alcohol to it. Yeah, sure.
Guys, start training, become bartenders, learn how to twist those bottles, fling them around, and you're in. That's it. That's what girls want.
Pennies drop.
There you go. So that's another good one. So yeah, David Wayne, he's very good, I think, at just making, I guess, in a way, spoofs of not specific films, but genres.
Okay, yeah.
And I would like to see him maybe do something like an action. Maybe it'd be great to see him take on like an action movie. Like just do it like almost Hot Shots. Hot Shots kind of already did that.
No. Yeah, Hot Shots already a spoof of more stuff.
Of like just straight up ridiculous 80s action movies. So I guess that's already been kind of covered. But I'm curious to see how this series does on Netflix. I know you haven't seen it yet, but it's a great companion piece to the film. I wonder if he plans on doing more. Because it can't be easy getting all these people together.
No. But that's the good thing about this series, because there's only 8 episodes. So
yes, 25
that's
minutes.
What's brilliant about Netflix. They only make so much and makes everyone beg for more. So
True.
Very smart marketing on their part. But I think also just because the storylines and the characters, as big as these actors are nowadays, they can still, set aside 1 or 2 days in their busy career to film more content for this.
It's kind of the thing is you can't forget where you came from.
Exactly. And that's your roots go back.
None of these people did this for the money.
Obviously.
I mean, because they probably had very little money to make this show. They just did it because, you know what, this is where I started off. If it was for David Wayne, maybe cast in a movie. Who knows what doors that could have opened for them.
Who knows? Maybe David Wayne was ahead of his time back in that day. He at that point, knew that all these people were going to be humongous stars.
Right? I mean,
14 years ago.
14 years ago, exactly. I mean, if he did, that guy should be running a talent agency in L.A. somewhere.
I know.
Just like this person, this person, this person. It's crazy. I
started everybody's careers.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think what Bradley Cooper's breakout movie was. It had to be The Hangover.
Hangover definitely threw him into the comedic spot.
And he had bit parts in like Wedding Crashers before that, where he was like the bad guy. And like you said, I forgot. I never really knew he was an Alias.
Alias, yeah. So, see, that was probably my first blood with him. Watching him, First Blood. Like the first thing I've seen with him.
Okay, gotcha.
That I'm aware of who he was as an actor and as a character. Will Tippin, he's that good friend, best friend. That's a guy who's always there. He's always there for moral support, and it's kind of his character is a reporter, I believe, and he's best friends with Jennifer Garner's character, Sydney.
Okay.
But he's the friend that's always there but doesn't know everything.
Does he get the?
But kind of in love
with her, but she does. Is it that kind of thing?
No,
okay.
Didn't really.
I wasn't sure. I feel like in those shows, the guy who's like just friends with her is secretly in love with her. that's a romantic.
They kind of had a romantic triangle with the other friend that liked him. So.
Oh, okay. Welcome to the Alias podcast,
it
everybody.
Is.
We're doing.
Let's do that.
Instead of me watching it, I'm just gonna have you describe each episode for me in the story arc.
That'd be hard because every episode of Alias ends on a cliffhanger.
Really?
Yeah, that's a perfect show to binge watch.
Friend of the show, Maud Garrett, is the one who told me she loves that show also. Mm-hmm. And she almost killed me when I told her I'd never seen it. She was like, "You need to start watching because I think it's on Netflix or Hulu."
It is on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it hold up though? Because TVs have made such leaps and bounds in production value and all that. Does that show hold up?
It does because the storyline takes Sydney, the main character, literally all over the world.
Okay.
So at the end of every episode, she's in the middle of a investigation on whatever case, and then finish that up at the beginning of the next episode, and then she goes off to the next location and figures out the next problem.
And J.J. Abrams, the guy who produced that show,
brilliant,
and it's what got him the job to direct Mission Impossible 3 because Tom Cruise watched Alias and was so impressed with it. It's like, let's give this guy Mission Impossible.
It's a great show, yeah. If you love strong female characters who kick ass, watch that.
Sounds good to me. All right, guys. So overall, give me your just overall thoughts on Wet Hot American Summer.
Fun, ridiculous movie. I'll probably watch again, maybe when I'm a little bit more drunk.
Yeah, you feel like that would enhance the viewing experience a little
probably.
bit?
I would probably laugh a lot more than
I'm going to say you're not the first person to have that same thought. I'm sure other people out there do the same thing. It might even be a ritual. I
might need a little help laughing in that.
Yeah, there you go. All right, guys, so we're going to close the show with quick thinks. I tweeted out to my followers on Twitter in Schmoville that we're recording an episode, and I want to know what's the last movie they watched, and then we're going to get some of your quick thoughts on them. Tell me what you think. If you haven't seen it, don't worry. You can't see every movie.
Okay.
Let's go with Shomer at GPOUST. G-Post? I don't know what that means, buddy.
G-Post?
Yeah, G-Post. He said The Dark Knight was the last movie he watched. I'm hoping you've seen Dark Knight.
I have.
Okay.
Christian Bale. I mean, people love him. I personally don't.
Oh, you're not a big Bale fan.
But I do love Christopher Nolan, so... But I wasn't the biggest Batman series fan. The Christopher Nolan series.
Wow.
I've seen all of them.
Of course.
But I haven't watched those movies repeatedly like a lot of people have.
Understood.
And granted, those are long movies, too. I only have so many hours in a day.
Marissa, I don't know. You usually, from one thing I learned from you on Twitter and Facebook, is you're up till the ungodly hours.
I know. I'm such an insomniac. It's terrible. Yeah. I'm waiting for the day it kicks me in the ass. I'm really am.
All right. Let's see. Here's a movie I have not seen. Actually, What It Do at Musa Chandri. I don't know how this.
What It Do?
I swear these people give me the hardest names. Teacher of the Year, which is a film on Netflix starring the guy from Key and Peele. Have you heard of this movie?
I feel like I've heard of it.
I've never heard of this movie.
Honestly, I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either, and I saw it on Netflix the other day, and I might check it out.
It's a comedy.
It's a comedy.
I'd imagine.
I think it's based on one of their skits that they actually did on the Key and Peele show.
I haven't watched the Key and Peele. I watched the first episode, which I laughed a lot, but my schedule's so busy that I haven't been able to watch the whole thing.
Marissa's a busy girl, everybody.
Very busy.
Here's a movie I haven't seen. Maybe you've seen it. Maybe you haven't. Michael Ricky at Michael Ricky 1. Maggie. This is the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that came out this year about his daughter turning to a zombie.
Oh,
yeah, the girl from Low the Sunshine, Abigail Breslin.
Oh, Abigail Breslin.
She plays the daughter who
She's grown up nicely.
Yeah, this is one of those movies I really want to see because I heard Arnold's trying to give like a dramatic performance.
With zombies in it?
Yeah, it's a very like indie kind of zombie
I don't think
movie.
you can have drama and zombies together.
Right?
I mean,
with Arnold Schwarzenegger, he should be shooting with a bazooka or something.
I mean, look what happened with, what was it, World War Z or something?
Yeah, World War Z.
They tried to be dramatic, but that...
I didn't hate that movie. Did you like it?
I did not see it.
Oh, okay. That's
I
not
think
that bad.
being a... Okay, just a quick tangent. Being a film major, and when I went to film school, all my film major friends, they had to have a zombie movie. They're like, let's do a zombie movie. It was like the talk of the town.
Okay.
And it got to the point where I'm like, just make your damn zombie movie, get it out of your system, and move on. So I think I'm just at that point where if I hear zombie anywhere in the title or synopsis, I'm like, nah, I'm good.
You're done with it. All right.
There's only so many ways you can kill a zombie.
I agree. I stopped watching The Walking Dead because I just got tired of them being in the same spot for too long.
Same here. I stopped after season 2.
Here's a great movie, which not a lot of people have seen, so maybe you might not have seen it. It's called We Need to Talk About Kevin. It's with Tilda Swinton. And the kid who's going to play the Flash, his name's Ezra something.
Ezra Miller?
Yeah, I think that's it. Basically, it's about...
Have not seen it, no.
It's about it's very rose... I don't even know how to describe it. She has a child, and from day one the kid is born, she feels like the kid might be evil. Or just not evil, but there's something wrong with the kid that she feels an emotional disattachment. Okay. And the kid grows up and does one of these like kind of crazy school shootings, like a la Columbine. Oh, shoot. And the movie takes place, half of it is flashbacks to her raising the kid, and half the movie is her after the shooting and how the community treats her after her son kind of went through this terrible thing.
Oh, wow. Sounds fascinating. What was it called?
We Need to Talk About Kevin.
Okay.
I highly recommend it.
It sounds like a Lifetime movie. I would totally watch that.
It's very dark, though. It is very dark. John C. Reilly plays the father, and he's really good in it.
A great cast.
And Tilda Swinton's amazing.
All right. I'm putting that on my list to watch. Thank you for that recommendation.
Check out. Here's one of my all-time favorite films from Chris Alikos at Calicos. I'm just so bad at reading these names. The Shawshank Redemption.
Yes.
You've seen this.
Great movie.
Amazing. All-time best.
That end shot is fantastic. Cinematography, storyline, just wrapping everything up. He finally gets his freedom in the end.
Yeah, it's one of those movies like this. It's usually on IMDb's like #1 film of all time. Like it's usually voted as one of the best films. It's just so good. And what I love about films that are period pieces, they never feel like they're outdated. You watch certain movies in the 80s or 70s, it just feels like it was of that time. Because this movie takes place in like 1950s, it just feels timeless to me.
It is a timeless movie.
So, absolutely love Shawshank. If you guys haven't seen it, you're in trouble.
Plus, Tim Robbins is great.
Yes. Brooks Wilkins at BWilkins88. What Hot American Summer? We covered that one, buddy. You got a whole episode.
Have I seen that? I don't know.
Yeah, you got a whole episode for that one, so you're good. Oh, God, these names. Felipe Brecha. God, can you read that top name?
That's it. Felipe Brecha.
Felipe Brecha.
I don't know, just say it really fast and people,
sounds like
no
a
one will
spice
notice.
or something. The Goonies.
Goonies, yeah.
Who doesn't love the Goonies?
Sloth love chunk.
Sloth. Is that your sloth impression?
No, that was terrible, but like every time I watch that movie, I think I want to eat a Snickers,
That's good point. Goonies is one of those movies that like a lot of people who are older and didn't grow up with it, they watch it and they don't like it or they just don't really connect with it. But anybody that I feel it's weird.
It's
I know.
Fun adventurous.
Such
movie.
a fun adventure movie,
especially for all those kids.
Yeah, but I feel like anyone that grew up with the movie loves it to this day, and nothing will change your mind.
Sean Astin, so little.
Sean Astin,
so
Corey
little.
Feldman. I mean, even a young Josh Brolin plays the older brother.
Very true. Yeah, he played the a-hole brother.
So good. Anyway, definitely check out that movie. Here's a film that's interesting. Tommy at Mr. T.T. Green. One that I don't think is talked about enough that I loved as a kid. The Tim Burton film Big Fish.
Oh, yeah.
Ewan McGregor, Tim Burton, great film.
2003, yeah. You know what? I watched that
Okay.
I don't know why. I watched that a few months ago. It's really good.
Really good. Okay, let me say something. I watched it, not in theaters, but I watched it when it first hit home video, and I didn't love it.
I didn't love it the first time. I had more appreciation for the second time.
Okay, see, that's the thing. Like, because this guy's not alone. I've had a lot of people tell me they love Big Fish. And for me, it just, when I saw it the first time, it never connected. It didn't connect to me. And I haven't revisited since that first time I watched it. But because so many people come up to me and tell me how much they love that movie, I feel like it's one of those movies I need to revisit. Give it another chance. And you're saying you really like it.
I liked it the second time around, yeah.
So
I gave it a second chance.
There you go. I need to see it again. Here's a Mark Torday, at Mark Torday. Great fan, follows us on Schmoes all the time.
What's up, Mark?
He's a great guy. Mr. Holmes, which is one I want to see.
I just saw that, yeah.
Okay, well, how was it?
I saw it on my birthday, actually.
Oh, is that what you did?
Good. I'm begging Phil, our executive producer, to do it for Anatomy of a Movie. No one else has seen it. It's in a limited release already.
Yes. It's doing really well, though, in the box office.
It is. It's one of those sleeper hits, and I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan. Okay, my dad, humongous Sherlock Holmes fan. Like, seriously, he's the walking dictionary of Sherlock Holmes. Okay. I'm surprised they didn't hire him as the advisor for, like, the informant for all the new Sherlock movies.
Has he seen it?
He's in Illinois. He's not playing where he is.
Yeah, okay.
But great film, and a little short story. I was working the Late Show, and Sir Ian McKellen was in that day to promote that film.
Oh, really?
But I had to be the stand-in for him during rehearsal.
No way.
And so while they're filming it, and I'm with James Corden and all that, and I'm telling the producer, I was like, you do realize Ian McKellen's like a full foot taller than I am. Are you sure you have the right framing size for that? So, yeah. So, and I told my parents. Yeah, I told my parents, and they watched that episode, and they're like, yeah, Marissa was supposed to be the stand-in for Ian earlier amazing. That day. So, yeah.
Hollywood life,
film.
Everybody.
Great
Hollywood
film.
life. So it's good.
Yeah.
So that's one of those I might check in theaters. If not, I'll definitely check it out when it hits home video.
Yeah.
Or Netflix. Juan Pablo Cruz also said Wet Hot American Summer. Everyone's watching it now because of this series.
Yeah. I admit, I'm one of those people watching it now.
All right, let's do 2 more and we'll call it a day. Did you see Mad Max Fury Road? The Almost Film Critic asks.
I did. I fell asleep during it.
How do you fall asleep during Mad Max?
Okay, first of all,
that movie is adrenaline from beginning to end.
I know, and what I've noticed lately, I work so much. I work like 3 different jobs. But when I went to go see it, which was the earliest show in the morning, which, I mean, is only like 10:30.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm already so tired that I fell asleep. And somehow I fell asleep early on in the movie, and I woke up probably like 15, 20 minutes later, and then 4 girls showed up.
Okay.
And I'm like, where did these girls come from? What is happening? Granted, it is a high-octane movie, but I fell asleep. And it wasn't my favorite movie this year.
You need to watch it again.
I need to watch it on
movie of the year.
A full pot of coffee.
Yeah, I mean that movie is an adrenaline from beginning to end. Just in the filmmaking, I mean, some people say the plot's a little too simple. I can understand that, but the filmmaking that's on display in that movie is jaw-dropping.
Yeah, my excuse is that I was extremely exhausted while watching it.
Totally understand. Give it our shot. It's coming out on Blu-ray September 1st.
Okay, so around the corner.
Yeah, it's right around the corner, and if you're listening to this afterwards, go to Best Buy. Buy it. What are you doing with yourself? All right, we're going to do one last film. Nathan Mack says Ex Machina.
Yes.
Yes, I've seen this.
Great film.
I just picked it up on Blu-ray the other day. One of the best reviewed films of the year so far, up there with Mad Max, also one of the best reviewed films. What did you think of this movie? Did you guys do anatomy of it?
We did. Okay. I begged Phil to do it, and then we happened to do it on a week I wasn't even there. So
how often do you have to beg Phil to do a certain movie?
I have to beg him a lot, because we do movies that, honestly, I don't want to talk about, but movies I really do.
Yeah.
And sometimes in between. But I really wanted to talk about it, and then we happened to do it on the week that I wasn't there that week.
So what did you think of Ex Machina?
Great film, because I really think the storyline, because we've had a lot of films in the past few years that try to touch upon consciousness and the whole delving into that story. I mean, it is very complicated. The female
aspect of it too.
That too.
It kind of reminded me a little bit of. Did you see a Scarlett Johansson film, Under the Skin?
Under the Skin, no.
Oh, trippy ass fucking movie. But anyway,
that's right here.
Ex Machina, though, yeah. Go ahead.
But I think they really touched upon the consciousness storyline in a way that people can actually explain it and actually understand it. Whereas like chappy as crap as a movie
I heard that was horrible.
What was it? Her?
I love her.
Like,
yes.
There's been a handful of films in the past few years that try to talk about consciousness, but I don't think people really walk away fully understanding what it was, but they get the concept. But I think Ex Machina like really executed it well.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's such a good movie, and it literally stars 3 people.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac.
In one location.
The other guy, Donald Gleason. And the girl who plays the robot, and like you said, Donald Gleason. What did I say?
He's great. Donald.
Did I say Donald?
Donald
Gleason.
Donald.
But it takes place in this one little house in the middle of nowhere, and it's fascinating the whole way through. And I thought the ending was a little predictable. I don't know if it was for you. Maybe that personally, I just was kind of like, okay, I kind of knew this was gonna. What I thought was gonna happen kind of happened.
Well, watching it, you knew what it was gonna lead up to.
Yeah.
And then at the end, when you actually walk out of the theaters, you then realize what the title is, X.
Yeah.
So something that was former. And then totally makes sense with now her being a former robot now being a human. Spoiler alert for anyone who's seen it.
Yeah, good point. I mean, listen, it's a great movie, guys. Go check it out. Like I said, just hit Blu-ray. I picked it up this past weekend, actually.
It's a great film.
I plan on revisiting it because before I do my top 10 end of the year list, I'm going to have to revisit it before that. All right, guys, so I think that's it. I think that's it for Quick Things. That's it for the show. If you want to hear Marisa talk some more Ex Machina, check out Anatomy of a Movie.
Yeah.
On iTunes and YouTube.
And Popcorn Time Network.
Yeah, Popcorn Network. You do Anatomy every Friday, I believe, right?
Every Friday, yeah.
And you guys usually do 2 movies.
2.
And
sometimes 3 if we really want to,
Yeah, if you really want to get into it. Like maybe around the award season when it's really packed.
Yeah.
And Anatomy Movie, it sounds just like how it is. It's anatomy. You guys break it down. Every aspect.
Yeah, we really nerd out. The writing, directing, cinematography, music, acting, character, storyline.
Yeah,
literally every aspect.
Yeah, so it's not just like a basic review. It's
not a review. It's just we really call it more so companion
piece.
Companion.
You want to watch the movie before
it goes
you listen
hand
to the
in
show.
hand.
Totally agree. It's not one of those shows you want to watch the movie first because you guys really delve into it. Tell them where they can find you, Marisa.
You can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV. I'll spell that for you for people who want to actually say my last name over and over again. It's
Serafini.
Serafini TV.
Okay, at Serafini, and that's just Twitter, Instagram, all that?
Twitter, Instagram. I'm not so much on Instagram.
Yeah,
Twitter, I'm trying to get better at social media.
Are you?
It's like I admit I'm not the greatest.
Okay.
Because I'm more the behind the scenes person. I'm not I'm like I get thrown in front of the camera every once in a while, but
thrown.
Yeah,
she literally gets thrown.
I throw myself in front of the camera. But I'm trying to get better at social media because apparently a lot of people talk. So there you go. It's a perfect place to talk about other things.
I'm awesome at social media, and you can catch me at Schmoes JTE on Twitter, on Instagram, Periscope. I'm all over the place. I haven't Periscoped as much lately. Last time I did was Comic-Con. I only do it when I feel like there's actually something worth watching.
Right. I Periscope only things that probably no one else can see.
There you go. Some people like Periscope more. Roxy Star. But yeah, guys, you can catch me on Box Office Breakdown every Monday here at the Popcorn Talk Network, where me, Tom, and Sarah Stratton break down the box office numbers. Such a fun show.
Do you still do that international game?
Yes, I do it every week. International.
I totally rocked at that.
Yeah, you think you would do good at that?
Well,
you did good times. Yeah, you engineered a couple shows.
I saved a lot of you guys, actually.
That's true.
I saved Sarah a few times.
Yeah, you saved Sarah a few times.
I miss it.
So also, as you guys are listening, JT Movie Things on Twitter. Hit me up. Let me know some movies you watched. Let me know what you think of the show. If you're listening to iTunes, do me a favor, hit 5 stars because I think we gave you a 5-star podcast.
Yeah.
Right?
Thanks for having me. This was really fun.
Yeah, this is fun. So yeah, that's it, guys. And don't forget to check out Schmoes Know every Thursday from 6 to 8, the main show. We got some great guests. We got Kevin Smith, the director of this movie, Wet Hot American Summer. David Wayne is going to be on our show in just a week or 2.
Oh, well, perfect.
Yeah, right? This is a perfect companion piece.
There you go.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much. And thank you once again, Marisa, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Keep watching those movies.